What's up, everyone? Welcome to the DraftKings tournament plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get 1 free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We have a pretty weird day of baseball today. Two totally different slates between DraftKings and FanDuel. On DraftKings, we only have a 5-game NBA or MLB slate tonight. So ownership is going to typically be a little bit more concentrated. Obviously, you have less options to choose from. But taking a look at 3 of the top tournament stacks and 3 of the top tournament pitchers using the top stacks tool and the top pitchers tool on Awesemo.com. Starting with the top stacks, number 3, the Seattle Mariners projected for about 10% aggregate ownership with a 10% chance of being the top scoring stack. They have a 4.4 implied run total going up against Dane Dunning and the Texas Rangers tonight. Dunning's not a bad pitcher, but you do have some power in the Seattle lineup. And, again, only 10 teams to choose from on this slate. We don't have a lineup yet, of course, for Seattle, but likely to have, Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez, JP Crawford, top prospect Julio Rodriguez in that lineup, Jared Kelenic as well. So certainly, even though it's not the most recognizable names, certainly some upside still going up against Dunning. Number 2, the Boston Red Sox projected for 5% ownership with an 11% chance of being the top scoring stack. They have a relatively difficult matchup against Jose Barrios, but they also have a lot of power in their lineup. Since the start of last season, Barrios has allowed 1.14 home runs per 9 innings. He has a respectable 3.69 xFIP, but again, you just have a lot of power in the Red Sox lineup. You're in a park that plays up right-handed power as well. So guys like Kike Hernandez, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, who is off to a slow start, Trevor Story, and then left-handed power bat and Rafael Devers as well. Just a very high upside offense going up against Barrios. And number 1, the other side of that game in Fenway, the Toronto Blue Jays facing Nick Pivetta. They have a 4.6 implied run total, 15% aggregate ownership projection, 15% chance of being the top scoring stack. The Blue Jays lineup is a little bit watered down right now, but as a result, in addition to the power bats at the top with guys like Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, and Gurriel, you get some cheaper pricing as well. Zach Collins has been a popular catcher option that's come through recently. He's likely to be hitting in the middle of the order at a cheap price tag. Matt Chapman's relatively inexpensive. If you don't want to go Zach Collins, you can probably go Alejandro Kirk, assuming he's in the lineup at catcher. So plenty of value bats in Toronto's lineup in addition to the stars at the top. So now looking at the top 3 tournament pitchers, coming in at number 3, Merrill Kelly, $8,000 price tag. Facing the Washington Nationals, the Nats have a 4.2 implied run total. Kelly's not a great strikeout pitcher, only a 20.3% strikeout percentage since the start of last season, but a decent 4.13 xFIP and just not the most difficult matchup going up against the Nats. He'll have to navigate his way around Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, and Josh Bell. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to be scared of in this Nats lineup. Number two, Jose Barrios, facing the Red Sox, a team that I like is one of the most under-owned stacks. Barrios not pulling much ownership on his end either. He's only $7,300, projected for 15% ownership with an 18% chance of being a top 2 pitcher. The Red Sox have a 4.4 implied run total. Since the start of last season, Barrios has struck out 25.7% of hitters. He's only walked 6.2%. 3.69 xFIP, as I mentioned before. Just a solid arm that is projected to go a little bit under-owned on tonight's relatively short slate. And number 1, the top tournament pitcher, the way things currently look, Eric Fedde taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. This offense is not very good. They have a 3.8 implied run total. We already have that lineup, and it's pretty much what you would expect. Dalton Varsho, Ketel Marte, David Peralta, Christian Walker, Seth Beer. I mean, they're just they're fine. They're okay. But, when those are the first 5 hitters in your order, it's typically not a lineup that you're going to be very scared of taking pitchers against. Since the beginning of last season in his starts, Fedde has a 4.01 xFIP. He has struck out 22.1% of hitters. So just, pretty average stuff, pretty average numbers from Fedde, but in an above average matchup on tonight's slate. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on DraftKings: number 3, the Seattle Mariners; number 2, the Boston Red Sox; and number 1, the Toronto Blue Jays. And the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Merrill Kelly; number 2, Jose Barrios; and number 1, Eric Fedde.